D-Man got fame. What's going on, Clarence?
Cornmeal.
Let's do it. D-Man alright. Whoa. D-Man alright. Spicy Mafia. Spicy Mafia. You gotta keep it spicy. If you see a queen, you better wife it. While we litter than a lighter, makes things much brighter. So you gotta keep it spicy. You gotta keep it spicy.
All right, so this is indeed a treat. We've been wanting to get pokkst on for a while. He's a developer that came over from the BTC world, discovered Bitcoin Cash, and we've never been the same since. Some great projects out there. The Crescent Wallet, tipbitcoin.cash, all that good stuff. But before we get too far into that, first off, pokkst, man, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It feels good to be here.
Yeah. Super excited to talk to you. There's so much to talk about that's happening right now in the Bitcoin Cash community, and you being a developer, that obviously leads to some interesting conversations.
Definitely.
But on a personal note, you've actually had a bit of a just doxing you a little bit here. You've actually moved across the country, right? Recently, you moved to New York.
Yeah, I just moved from Houston to New York City, so that's pretty cool.
Wow! And now the little that I know, I've been to Houston. I've been in New York City. It's not that like Houston's backwater or anything like that. I mean, it's a cosmopolitan place and lots of art and culture and cool things. But
yeah,
how's the culture shock transferring?
It's like a lot busier in New York City. I mean, I like the energy. And like, there's just people always doing like stuff 24/7. There's a lot of stuff to do. It's pretty cool. There wasn't like much to do like in Houston, you know, like in Houston we had an amusement park, then it shut down, and like that was like the only thing we had going for us. So New York's pretty nice. I like it.
Well, I thought you left because of the Astros cheating scandal. But,
oh, you want to talk about that right now?
How do we know? Yeah, well, very cool. And Texas is no backwater either in terms of technology. Austin and places like it.
Oh yeah.
So, did you move to NYC for any kind of tech opportunity reasons?
So I work remotely, so I can like live wherever I want to, and I wanted to move to New York City. Like I've thought about it way back in the past, like wanting to move here, so I just decided to do it. But I also wanted to do it because I have some friends here, and then there's also like a bunch of cryptocurrency people just around. So
greatest city in the world, and you're a young dude, right? You if I remember again further doxing here, like 21, right?
Yeah, I'm 21. I turned 21 3 months ago, around that.
Wow.
Yeah. Dropped out of college, so that's pretty fun.
Wow, that's incredible. and what a time. I mean, you're knee deep in a financial revolution. Young guy moving to New York City, which is it's the perfect place for a young person.
Oh, I know. It's insane.
Yeah. So that's so cool. But you said you had some friends there, and one is one of my favorite people. And one of my favorite podcast episodes that I did was, of course, Carbon Based.
Yeah.
Was he part of your reasoning for moving out there?
Yeah. So in July of last year, I visited him. I want to say for like a week, and he showed me around like just the city or whatever, and like showed me like all this cool stuff. And like we didn't go to any touristy spots, like the cliche type of stuff you go to see. He took me to like local restaurants. He took me to like meet his friends or whatever, and it was just a lot different visit than like most people take, and I liked it a lot, and that's what drove me to move here.
Very cool. And so should we expect you to grow a Brooklyn like beard and have an emo haircut pretty soon?
Oh my god. I mean, maybe. I'm already kind of growing a beard. I'm just too lazy to shave, so
Boom. Well, the next thing you're going to be making your own IPA, your own beer. So that's got to happen at some point. I think they issue you guys stills as soon as you come into the city. Well, very cool. Very, very, very cool. But also, I think there's some congratulations in order in that you made some history with your tipbitcoin.cash. I think it's if kind of not knowing all the background to all the deals that are out there, but I think it's the first kind of project to be sold to an SLP token team, right?
I think so. So like it was like tipbitcoin.cash, and like I'm not sure if anyone else did it before me, but I know I think what was it? Spice.casa. They sold to the Spice token team. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure tipbitcoin.cash was the first. So that was
Right.
fun.
And for people who don't know what Tip Bitcoin Cash is, I mean, obviously the name's there, but it's a really cool kind of. It's one of so obvious nobody did it projects,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
people who did it didn't do it well. And
Yeah.
you seem to have kind of solved for X there. Tell us what Sorry, try that again. Sorry. Tell us what Tip Bitcoin Cash is.
So tipbitcoin.cash is a tipping platform for live streamers on like Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Mixer, whatever. It uses Streamlabs, and so whenever someone donates Bitcoin Cash to the streamer, it'll show a typical alert that Streamlabs uses, and it'll say like name donated like $5 in Bitcoin Cash, and all the tips are completely non-custodial. So like tipbitcoin.cash never holds any funds. It does support SLP tokens as well, so you can tip Spice, Honk, and the Bitcoin.com lead token. And besides that, like people tried it before. I forked a project, but then it was written in Python. It was very slow. There was a lot of bugs, so I completely rewrote it in PHP. So
Yeah, and it's a product that we actually use during the CoinSpice live stream for Calling It Like It Is.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's hilarious to watch people tip kind of in real time, and it comes up with different messages.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But it's also, a primary use case. I mean, here it is.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
oh, sorry. So a typical problem live streamers face with users tipping people or like tipping them is credit card chargebacks. So like people will donate like let's say $5,000 to get attention on stream, and then once the stream ends or like later on, like a couple of days later, they'll file a dispute and get that money taken back, and it doesn't like it harms the live streamers. So like they get a certain amount of strikes they can get before their account's taken away, and that's their livelihood gone. And so with the nature of cryptocurrencies, chargebacks aren't really possible. And so combining that with the tipbitcoin.cash thing, it's like a match made in heaven for live streamers.
And I know you've already kind of been over it, and sort of Bitcoin Cash sells itself for developers who are interested in microfinance and so on, and then having kind of bigger blocks to work on as well. So I know that's kind of the obvious reasons to maybe why you came over to Bitcoin Cash, but there are a ton of different other projects out there, Ethereum and so on. Why did you move from BTC, sort of the preeminent crypto everybody knows? If you're talking to your mom or whatever, you don't have to sit there and go, okay, so like there's Bitcoin and there's these forks, and like explain what you're working on. You could just say Bitcoin. I'm working on the thing everybody knows.
Yeah.
Why did you choose Bitcoin Cash when you had so many other choices?
For one, like a big factor was like it was super easy to like port my projects over to Bitcoin Cash because BTC and Bitcoin Cash share a similar code base, and because they share like the same chain, most everything's the same besides like a few parameters you need to change. it was just super easy to port all my stuff over and just like keep working and like not lose much productivity. So
Yeah, that I think that probably is a big reason why the community tends to attract some good people when they become disillusioned. But combining those two elements, then funding and moving to Bitcoin Cash, you recently took to read.cash to kind of give your sort of weigh in on funding developers for Bitcoin Cash. And you're not necessarily a protocol developer for a full node implementation or anything like that, so you don't really have a real dog in that fight. But you are a developer. You are a Bitcoin Cash centric developer. What's your take? And we don't need to belabor the point, but just kind of your hot take, your quick take on all that's transpired with regard to the proposal by BTC Top and so on.
All right. So I should start off with saying like the Bitcoin Cash protocol developers deserve to be funded because they do a lot of work for the community and infrastructure of the system. And so I'm all for that. I'm also all for Coinbase rewards going to developers, but it depends on the execution of how like the community and the system goes about it. So like the proposal that BTC Top will put out, it was in a lot of eyes malicious because they wanted everyone to comply, and they were going to force compliance from other pools and other miners by orphaning their blocks and saying like, hey, you can't do that, that's not allowed. And to certain miners and like developers and like community members, that's seen as a threat, and that goes against the whole entire point of Bitcoin, because the way quote unquote Nakamoto consensus works is if the majority of miners are honest, and a lot of people didn't see this as honest or non-malicious, so that's why there's a huge debate. And so I don't think they're going about like the right way of doing this. It could be like done a lot better, and like they could start like a movement by doing it themselves and like encouraging other miners to like follow suit but not forcing them. And that's just my like main thing about it. And then the shady Hong Kong company, that's another thing. I think they should just put the actual team's addresses in the Coinbase reward and not send it off to some company in China, but that's the gist of it.
Yeah, and it's as we're talking, maybe 5 or so calendar days into the proposal, there have been some twists and turns. But one of the guys I think that was instrumental is another Anon dev named Imaginary Username who brought you over, or at least encouraged you. He's come out and offered not only kind of pointed and kind of hot takes on the being against the BTC Top idea, but he's also kind of, I guess, offered an alternative, some different ways to go about what you say is the heart of the problem, which is funding developers, but without maybe the more coercive aspects of it. Is at least that, can we say so, to kind of put a positive bow on what's gone on? Do you think at the very least what Zheng Zhu has done and BTC Top has done is
I think
woken the community to at least the conversation
of funding developers? I think so. The core like system of their plan is they have like a good intention. It's just the execution of that plan that's kind of souring the community. And so like they want to fund developers, but like the way they're going about it is but I like Imaginary's proposal. There's like a lot of other proposals as well that are good. We just got to discuss as a community on what to do.
I think Bitcoin Verde has come out with some stuff more recently, and it's a really interesting time to be in the Bitcoin Cash space, especially if you're a developer. But all right, cool. Well, I'm glad we at least talked about that. Let's get into some of your other projects. One that I constantly see being talked about in Bitcoin Cash channels is your wallet iteration, the Crescent Cash wallet. Tell us a little bit about that and how it came about and where you are now.
Okay, so when I was in the BTC camp, I made a wallet called Crescent Pay, and Crescent Pay used a kind of like a Cash App cash tag system for usernames, and so it was all stored on a server for me, and uh, you would input like a $sign and like their name, and it would send it there. I didn't like it too much because it was centralized, like the username system, even though it was non-custodial. And so when I joined Bitcoin Cash, I found out about cash accounts, and that brought like a lot of joy to me because like it was decentralized, still not custodial, and it was basically perfect. And so I like having simplified wallets and wallets for like newcomers and like just keeping everything as simple as possible. And so using aliases like cash accounts for instead of like addresses makes everything a lot simpler. And so I wanted to like make a wallet focused on that, and that's where Crescent Cash came to be.
And how is it going? Because it still gets well, I guess high praise. A lot of people talk about its sort of clean features and how smooth it is. Have you? I mean, I periodically you always show up in our crypto dev digest in one form or
Oh
another.
yeah.
But where's the project now? Like, and kind of where do you see it heading?
So I like to like be first and have like claim to have like the first of the feature or whatever. So like I was first with SLP tokens on a mobile wallet, first with full cash account support, so like registration and sending. What else? I'm trying to think. There was custom op return messages for the mobile wallet. There was, I'm pulling up the list right now. There's like a lot of stuff. Cointext SMS integration.
Oh, right. Shout
And
out to Vin Armani, right?
yeah, and then UTXO management on the mobile version and desktop version. So that was like the first for that too. I just released a huge update to the SLP portion of the wallet where it stops relying on the rest.bitcoin.com instance for most things and instead uses full SPV. Everything's done locally. It does contact SLP DB for like token info, like the ticker and like symbol and all that stuff. Besides that, it's a lot stabler. It doesn't have to rely on the rest Bitcoin instance going down. And then it's just a lot faster as well. So,
And looking forward, because you are kind of a young guy, and you've got several projects kind of under your belt. We've only kind of touched two of them.
yeah.
What's the future for you? Like, can you see yourself staying in the crypto space?
Oh, definitely.
Really? And so you don't see it because for a lot of people, I get the sense they're I don't want to call you a tourist, but some people are kind of tourists. Like they come in, they sort of dabble with it, and then they move on to something else. What like can you give us any like news as far as what you're dabbling in or kind of looking to the future?
I want to try like making using like cash script and like developing projects using that. Maybe just some more fun applications as well and like websites. I wouldn't say I'm a tourist. I've been doing this stuff for like several years now, so I don't think I'm going to be going anytime soon. So just look forward to new stuff.
Very, very, very cool.
Yeah.
How can people follow you? How can they follow your work? How can they follow what you're doing, find you online, and kind of keep the rest of all things pokkst?
All right. So I mainly use Twitter for most of my stuff, pretty much all of my stuff. You can follow at pokkst, POKKST. You can follow Crescent Cash on Twitter and tipbitcoin.cash on Twitter. You can find me on Telegram at pokkst. And then I also have memo.cash. I'm pokkst there as well. and so that's where I hang out mostly. So
All right, that was the great Pokkst. He's got his bags packed. He's literally living in New York City, living the dream, the digital nomad lifestyle here, and we're looking forward to even bigger things from him in the future. Thanks again, man, so much for coming on the show.
thank you for having me. It was great.